The EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will hold talks with the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday in an effort to push ahead with Brexit. Brussels and London have each admitted that no major breakthroughs have been made after 4 rounds of talks this year. An end of June deadline trade agreement looms, and the UK government has repeatedly said it will not agree to an extension even if the EU requests one. Well, in addition to that upcoming meeting, the two sides have agreed to accelerate Brexit talks with 5 weekly rounds of negotiations alternating between Brussels and London beginning on the 29th of June. Well, let's find out a little bit more and go to Brussels and speak to our correspondent, Shona Murray. Shona, it seems like the most we've seen from both sides in weeks in terms of saying there's a little bit of room for negotiation and actually let's get together and talk more often to try and come to some agreement. Could this be a sign that there's progress on how these negotiations are going?
Well, certainly there isn't progress on the negotiations per se, but I think it is interesting that both sides have agreed to this high-level meeting, although it is written in withdrawal agreement that they would have one on Monday with Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen, where they will take stock of negotiations so far. But in addition to that, both sides have said they will accelerate talks and have them weekly. We did hear last week from Michel Barnier and the British side saying that progress really had been so minimal that they really had to change the format, and that's what they're trying to do. And I'm joined now by David McAllister, MEP for the CDU in Germany. David, do you think that this high-level meeting and the change of how talks are done can accelerate progress in some way, or do you think both sides are too far apart on some very substantial issues?
Well, we're definitely entering a crucial phase of these negotiations. I welcome that this high-level meeting will now take place. The high-level conference will take stock of the progress made, or perhaps to be more precise, of the no progress made until now. But it's not only about taking stock of where we are, it's about how to move forward now. And I do hope that both sides will agree how we can make this agreement possible until the 31st of October. That's the deadline.
Do you believe that on the issues of level playing field, now you're obviously within the Foreign Affairs Committee of the European Parliament, you have your recommendations today on the issue of level playing field. It's a substantial issue. The UK hopes that the EU will move on this. Do you see that that could be possible, that there could be compromise where both sides could be happy?
The European Parliament will adopt a report next week, and this is a signal of solidarity, of unity with Michel Barnier, our chief negotiator. And one of the main points in the European Parliament is that the level playing field is key. We are making a very generous offer to the United Kingdom, an unprecedented access for a third country to the world's largest single market. However, what we want is competition. What we want is fair competition. It's about fair competition between the UK on the one hand and the European Union on the other hand. And that's why it's so important to protect our standards when it comes to the environment, labour rights, consumer protection, just to name 3.
And do you believe now that there is an acceleration of talks, that the likelihood of a no-deal Brexit is somewhat waned, or is it something that you'll be recommending the EU prepare for?
The third negotiation round and the fourth negotiation round were both disappointing. Lots of talk, no real output. We have to move forward on substance. It's not about the methodology. Of course, we can change the way we're negotiating. We can be even more concise, more precise, more concentrated, but we have to move on the substance, and that's what we expect from the UK.
OK, David McAllister, thank you so much. Back to you, Rosie.
Shona, thank you very much for speaking to us there in Brussels.